My wife mocked our wedding ring as a friendship bracelet at a beach party. I collected proof, cut finances, filed for divorce, and reclaimed my respect. Party in front of 30 people while flirting with single guys half-dressed in a bikini. That was the moment I realized our 7-year marriage had an expiration date, and I was about to enforce it. Let me back up. Every summer, for the past 3 years, we have thrown this big party at Virginia Beach. We rented the same beach house for a weekend, invited friends from work, college buddies, neighbors. It started as our thing, something we built together. Good food, cold beer, volleyball on the sand, and everyone talking about it for months after. This year felt different from the start. 3 weeks before the party, she suddenly wanted to invite a bunch of new people, all from her gym. All single guys in their 20s who apparently needed to experience our legendary parties. When I asked why, she got defensive quick. They are just friends. You do not own the guest list. Fair enough. But then came the shopping trips. New bikinis, new sundresses, a trip to get her nails done professionally for the first time in 2 years. When I mentioned she looked great, she barely looked up from her phone. Just want to look nice for photos. Photos, right? The week leading up to the party, her phone became surgically attached to her hand, always face down on the counter, quick to flip it over when I walked into rooms, stepping outside to take calls. When I asked who kept texting so late, she would wave me off, just coordinating party stuff with everyone. Friday morning, we loaded up the truck and drove down to Virginia Beach. For hours, she scrolled through social media while I handled the playlist and driving. At red lights, I would catch glimpses of her typing messages, but she would angle the screen away whenever I looked. We got to the rental around noon. It was the same house as always, 3 bedrooms right off the beach with that huge deck, perfect for entertaining. I started unloading coolers and party supplies while she went straight inside to shower and get ready. The party was not starting until 4 o'clock. 2 hours later, she emerged wearing this bright red bikini I had never seen before, not the modest one-piece she usually wore to our pool parties. This was something else entirely. Barely a top, bottoms cut high on the hips. She looked good, but it felt like she was dressing for someone specific. New swimsuit, had it for a while, never had a reason to wear it. The guests started arriving around 4 o'clock. Our usual crowd showed up first. My college roommate brought his wife and kids. My CO worker brought his girlfriend. Normal people having normal conversations about work and weekend plans. Then her gym friends arrived. 5 guys, all around 25, all obviously single, and obviously trying to impress someone. They walked straight past me to find her on the deck where she was suddenly the most animated I had seen her in months. I fired up the grill and started cooking burgers and hot dogs for 30 people. That is what I do with these things. I cook. I keep drinks stocked. I make sure everyone is having a good time. Host duties. Meanwhile, she was organizing a volleyball game on the beach, not playing with the married couples or families like usual, just her and the 5 gym guys, plus 2 single women from her work. The rest of our guests ended up watching from the deck or making awkward small talk. I could see the game from the grill. She was being touchy. High fives that lasted too long, celebrating points by jumping on guys' backs. Lots of laughing and hair-flipping behavior I had not seen from her since we were dating. My college buddy walked over to help with the burgers. She seems energetic today. Yeah, really getting into the competitive spirit. He looked at me funny but did not push it. Smart man. By 6 o'clock, most of the food was ready and people were filling plates. The volleyball game broke up and everyone headed to the deck. She grabbed a beer and immediately started talking to the tallest guy from her gym, touching his arm while she talked, standing closer than necessary. I watched it all while serving potato salad and refilling the ice bucket, taking mental notes, filing away every interaction, every laugh, every time she acted like a single woman at her own married couple's party. The sun was setting, music was playing, and everyone seemed to be having a great time except me. I was running calculations in my head, wondering how long this had been going on, wondering what else I had missed while being the dependable husband who handled all the logistics while his wife played volleyball in a bikini with guys young enough to be her little brothers. But I kept grilling, kept smiling, kept playing the perfect host. After all, the real party was just getting started. Around 8 o'clock, someone suggested another volleyball game. This time with lights strung up on the beach and drinks in hand. Most of the married couples opted out. 2 were full from dinner, kids were getting cranky, the usual. But my wife, she was the first one down to the sand. I stayed on the deck mixing drinks for people and cleaning up plates. It was a perfect vantage point to watch the show. And what a show it was. She paired up with the tall guy from her gym, the one she had been talking to all evening. The guy looked like he spent more time on his abs than most people spend on their careers. They were winning every point, celebrating with these elaborate high fives and chest bumps. When she spiked the ball for a point, she jumped into his arms like they had just won the Olympics. He spun her around while she laughed. Everyone else on the beach could see what was happening. The other players, the people watching from the deck, hell, probably the people in the houses next door. My CO worker's girlfriend walked up to the drink station where I was stationed. "Your wife is really good at volleyball. She is competitive. I can see that." The way she said it told me everything. This was not just me being paranoid. Other people were noticing, too. The game went on for another 20 minutes. More celebrating, more touching, more of my wife acting like she was 22 and single at spring break. At one point, the ball went into the dunes and she chased after it with the gym guy. They were gone for 5 minutes. 5 minutes to find a volleyball. When they came back, her hair looked messier and she was readying her bikini top. "Found it," she announced, holding up the ball like she had discovered buried treasure. Everyone took a water break after that point. The players gathered around the cooler I had stocked with beer and Gatorade. That is when it happened. One of the other gym guys, a shorter one with the man bun, noticed something. "Hey, nice ring," he said to my wife. "When is the wedding?" Everyone within earshot went quiet, including me, standing 20 feet away, pretending to organize empty bottles. She looked down at her left hand like she had forgotten the ring was there. A white gold band with a small diamond. Nothing fancy, but we had picked it out together 7 years ago. We had saved up for 3 months to afford it. Then she laughed. Not the nervous kind of laugh when someone is caught off guard, the dismissive kind. "This old thing, it is more like a friendship bracelet at this point." The group erupted in giggles. All the single guys, the 2 single women from her office, even some people I could not identify, like she had made the funniest joke of the night. But the married couples on the deck, dead silence. My college buddy and his wife exchanged looks. My coworker stopped mid-drink. His girlfriend actually took a step back. I felt every eye on the deck turn to me, watching for my reaction, waiting to see what the husband does when his wife publicly humiliates him in front of 30 people. I did not react, just kept organizing bottles and napkins like nothing happened. But inside, I was taking inventory. Every laugh, every giggle, every person who thought it was hilarious that she had just disrespected our marriage for cheap laughs. The volleyball game resumed, but the energy had shifted. The married couples started making excuses to leave. Kids were tired. Long drive tomorrow. Early morning plans. Within 1 hour, half our guests had cleared out. The remaining crowd was exactly what you would expect. Single people in their 20s, a few single women from her work, and us. The married couple, who were not acting very married. Music got louder. Drinks got stronger. Someone brought out a speaker and started playing club music instead of the classic rock we usually kept on. The party had officially transformed into something else entirely. By 10 o'clock, she was dancing on the deck under the string lights with the same guy she had been volleyball celebrating with all night. Not group dancing. Not the kind of dancing married people do at parties. The kind where her hands were on his chest and his were on her waist. I was inside loading the dishwasher when my college buddy found me. "We are heading out, man. Thanks for having us." "Of course. Drive safe." He paused at the door, looked back toward the deck where my wife was still dancing, then back at me. "You good?" Never better. He knew I was lying, but he also knew better than to push. That is what 20 years of friendship teaches you. After he left, I had a choice. Go outside and make a scene, or stay inside and let her finish digging her own grave. I chose option 2. From the kitchen window, I watched her dance with 3 different guys over the next hour. I watched her take shots and laugh at jokes that apparently only she found funny. I watched her act like the single woman she clearly wanted to be. Around midnight, most of the remaining guests started trickling out. Beach house rentals in Virginia Beach are not cheap, and people had checkout times to worry about. But the gym guy did not leave. Neither did 2 of his friends. When I walked outside to start cleaning up, my wife was sitting on his lap in one of the deck chairs, sharing a beer and whispering in his ear. She saw me coming and did not even have the decency to look embarrassed. "We are just talking," she announced, like I had asked. "I can see that. Do not be weird about it." Weird, right? Because watching your wife sit on another man's lap at your own party is totally normal behavior that husbands should just accept. I started stacking chairs and collecting empty bottles. The cleanup could wait until morning, but I needed something to do with my hands before I said something that could not be taken back. The 3 guys eventually left around 1 o'clock in the morning. Lots of hugging goodbye, promises to hang out soon. Inside jokes I was not part of. After they drove off, she came inside and headed straight for the bathroom. I heard the shower running for 15 minutes. When she came out, I was sitting on the couch with a beer, scrolling through my phone. "Fun party," I said. "Yeah, everyone seemed to have a great time, especially your new friends." She sat down on the opposite end of the couch, not next to me like she used to, not even on the same cushion. "They are just fun to be around. Young energy, you know." I noticed the energy. What is that supposed to mean? Nothing, just making an observation. She studied my face for a moment, probably trying to figure out how much trouble she was in, but I was not giving her anything to work with. "I am tired," she said. "Finally, long day." She went to bed without saying goodnight. I stayed on the couch for another hour, staring at the ocean through the sliding glass door and processing what I had just witnessed. My wife had publicly disrespected our marriage, flirted with multiple men, and acted like a single woman at our own party in front of friends, family, and coworkers. But more importantly, she had shown me exactly who she really was when she thought she could get away with it. Now, I just had to decide what to do with that information. I woke up at 6:30 to the sound of waves and my wife snoring. She had had more to drink than usual, and it showed. Sprawled across 3/4 of the bed, still wearing the makeup she had put on to impress 25-year-olds. I made coffee and sat on the deck, watching early morning joggers and dog walkers on the beach. Peaceful, quiet, the complete opposite of last night's circus. By 9 o'clock, she still had not moved. Perfect. Her iPad was charging on the kitchen counter. Same as always. Same passcode she had been using for 3 years, our wedding anniversary. The irony was not lost on me, but I was not going to waste time being poetic about it. I opened her messages first. The recent conversations told the whole story. A text thread with Beach Crew. That is what she had named, the group chat with her gym friends. Messages going back 2 weeks all about the party, but not the logistics I thought she had been coordinating. "Cannot wait for Saturday. My husband will be busy playing host while we have some real fun."
Is he going to be weird about us being there? He will not even notice. He is always focused on the grill and making sure everyone else is happy. Perfect opportunity.
"You sure about this? Seems risky." "Trust me, I know exactly how to handle him." I scrolled up further. 3 weeks of messages, plans for what she would wear, strategies for keeping me distracted, jokes about how oblivious married men are. But the real discovery was her private message thread with the tall guy, the one she had been dancing with. His name was apparently Tyler. "Last night was incredible. You looked amazing." "Thanks. Felt good to actually have fun for once. Your husband seems cool, but he is nothing like you described." "What do you mean?" "You said he was controlling and boring. He seemed pretty laid back to me. That is just his public face. You do not live with him. When can we hang out without the crowd?" "Soon. He works late Tuesdays and Thursdays. Gym closes at 10 o'clock. Perfect. I will think of something fun for us to do." The messages went back 6 weeks. They started innocent enough, workout tips and gym class schedules, but they had escalated quickly. No explicit content. Nothing I could call cheating in court, but definitely emotional affair territory. More interesting were her messages with 2 female friends from work. Women I had met at company parties. Women who had been to our house for dinner. "How was the party?" "Amazing. Finally felt like myself again. Did you talk to that gym guy you mentioned?" "More than talk. We practically spent the whole night together." "What about your husband?" "He was busy playing house manager. Did not even notice." "Are you worried about people talking?" "Let them talk. I am tired of pretending to be happy in a marriage that feels more like a business partnership." "So, what is the plan?" "Still figuring it out, but last night showed me I have options." I took screenshots of everything. 43 messages that painted a clear picture of her intentions and disrespect. She had not just been flirty at the party. She had been auditioning for a different life. Next, I checked her search history. Apartment listings in our area. Divorce lawyers. How to leave a marriage without losing everything. Signs your husband is controlling. She had been researching her exit strategy for 2 months. I heard movement upstairs, a shower running. She would be down in 20 minutes, probably expecting me to have breakfast ready and act like nothing happened. Instead, I spent those 20 minutes making phone calls. The first call was to my buddy, who is a family lawyer. Not the kind of lawyer who handles divorces, but he would know who to recommend. "Dave, it is me. I need a referral for a divorce attorney. Someone good." "Jesus. Everything okay?" "We will be. I just need someone who can. Meet with me Monday morning. I will send you 3 names. These guys are sharks, but they are fair." "What happened?" "I will fill you in later. Thanks." The second call was to my bank. Saturday morning, but they had weekend customer service. "I need to remove someone from my checking account. What is the process?" Are you the primary account holder? Yes, it is my wife, but we are separating. You will need to come in person with identification. We can set up a new individual account and transfer the funds. What about automatic payments? You will need to update those with your new account information. Can this be done Monday morning? Absolutely. We open at 9 o'clock. The third call was to my credit card company. Same conversation, same Monday morning appointment. I heard her coming down the stairs as I hung up the phone, her hair wet from the shower, wearing one of my old college t-shirts and pajama shorts, looking innocent and sleepy like she had not spent the previous night disrespecting our marriage in front of 30 people. Morning, she said, heading straight for the coffee pot. Morning. Thanks for cleaning up last night. Place looks great. I had not cleaned up. I had just stacked some chairs and collected bottles from the deck, but she was trying to establish normal morning after-party conversation. No problem. Everyone seemed to have fun. Your college buddy and his wife left kind of early, though. They had plans today. She poured coffee and sat across from me at the kitchen table. Same spot we had eaten breakfast in this rental for 3 years running, but this time felt different. The gym crew wants to plan another get-together soon. Maybe dinner somewhere. Sounds fun. You would be invited, of course. Of course. Because watching my wife flirt with multiple men at a restaurant sounded like exactly how I wanted to spend an evening. I will check my schedule. She studied my face over her coffee mug. I was not giving her the reaction she expected. No jealousy. No questions about her new friends. No demands for reassurance. You are being weird. How so? Just distant. Did something happen last night? This was the moment she was opening the door for me to bring up her behavior, to start the fight. She probably expected the confrontation where I would accuse her of inappropriate behavior, and she would flip it around on me for being insecure and controlling. Instead, I finished my coffee and stood up. I'm going for a walk on the beach. I will come with you. Take your time getting ready. I will be back in an hour. I left her sitting at the kitchen table, probably wondering why her husband was not playing the jealous interrogator role she had prepared for. The beach walk gave me time to think. She had been planning this for months, the gym friends, the party behavior, the apartment searching. She wanted out of the marriage but wanted me to be the bad guy. She wanted me to get angry and controlling so she could justify leaving. But she had miscalculated. She had shown her cards too early, and now I had all the information I needed to control the narrative. When I got back to the house, she was dressed and packing our weekend bags, ready to head home.
I almost need to load the coolers.
We packed the truck in relative silence. The 4-hour drive home was even quieter. She scrolled through her phone while I drove, probably texting Tyler and her work friends about how strange I was acting. Let her wonder. By Monday morning, she would have much bigger things to worry about than my mood. Because while she had been planning her exit strategy, I had just spent the weekend planning mine. And unlike her plan, mine was going to work. Monday morning, I was sitting in a law office by 9:15. Robert Shun came highly recommended, and after 30 minutes of consultation, I understood why. He was direct, thorough, and had zero patience for emotional drama. Based on what you have told me and the evidence you have gathered, you have grounds for divorce citing emotional abandonment and public humiliation. Virginia is a no-fault state, but documented evidence of a fair adjacent behavior helps with asset division. How long does the process take? Uncontested, 6 months. If she fights it, 12 to 18 months. But given her apparent desire to leave anyway, I suspect she will cooperate once she realizes you are serious. What about the house? Whose name is on the deed? Both. But I paid the down payment from an inheritance before we got married. That helps. We can argue for you to keep the house and give her other assets to balance the division, assuming there are other assets. There are. By 10:30, I had signed a retainer agreement and authorized him to begin paperwork. By 11 o'clock, I was at the bank setting up my new individual accounts. By noon, I had transferred our joint savings into my name only and updated all automatic payments. She was at work, probably telling her friends about her mysterious, quiet husband, who had not even questioned her about the party. Little did she know her mysterious, quiet husband was systematically dismantling their shared financial life. I picked up dinner on the way home. Chinese takeout from the place she liked. I wanted to keep things normal until I was ready to have the conversation. She got home around 6:30, same as always. Kicked off her heels in the foyer, dropped her purse on the kitchen counter, complained about traffic. Smells good, what did you get? The usual, sesame chicken, fried rice, egg rolls. We ate dinner, making small talk about her day at the office and my meetings with clients. It was normal married couple conversation if you ignored the fact that I had spent the day preparing to divorce her. After dinner, she settled on the couch with a glass of wine and her phone. I cleaned up the kitchen and waited for the right moment. That moment came when I heard her giggling at text messages. Good conversation, just the girls from work, you know how they are. I sat down on the opposite end of the couch, close enough to talk, far enough to avoid seeming confrontational. We need to discuss what happened at the party. Her fingers stopped scrolling. She looked up from her phone with the expression of someone who had been caught, but was not ready to admit it. What about it? You called our wedding ring a friendship bracelet in front of 30 people. That was just a joke. People were laughing. I was not laughing. Neither were most of our married friends. She set down her phone and wine glass. Here came the defense strategy. You were being oversensitive. It was harmless. Dancing with multiple men while your husband watches is not harmless. We were just dancing. There is nothing wrong with having fun. Sitting on another man's lap is not dancing. Her face flushed. She had not expected me to be this specific. You were spying on me. I was at my own party. Kind of hard to miss. I cannot believe you are making this into some big drama. I was socializing with guests. You were flirting with guests. There is a difference. She stood up and started pacing. Classic deflection tactic. This is exactly why I need space. You are controlling and paranoid. I am controlling for noticing my wife's inappropriate behavior. It was not inappropriate. You are just insecure. Show me your phone. The words hung in the air between us. She stopped pacing and stared at me. Excuse me? If it was all innocent, show me your text messages with Tyler. Her face went white. She had not expected me to know his name. I'm not showing you my phone. That is private. Private conversations with single men are exactly the problem. You do not trust me. Should I trust you? She sat back down, but on the chair across from the couch this time, creating physical distance while she regrouped. We have problems in our marriage. I have been trying to tell you that for months. By flirting with other men instead of talking to your husband. By trying to feel appreciated. When is the last time you made me feel special? And there it was. The pivot to make this my fault. The classic cheater's playbook. When is the last time you acted like you wanted to be married? I do want to be married, just not like this. Not like what? Not like roommates who split bills and go through the motions. I pulled out my phone and opened the screenshots I had taken of her messages. These do not look like someone trying to fix her marriage. Her eyes went wide as she realized what she was looking at. You went through my iPad. You left it open on the counter. That is a violation of privacy. Bert, your husband reading messages about how oblivious and boring he is? Yeah, that does feel like a violation. She reached for my phone, but I pulled it back. 6 weeks of planning how to flirt with Tyler at our party. 2 months of researching divorce lawyers. 3 weeks of telling your friends how unhappy you are without ever mentioning it to me. Each fact hit her like a physical blow. Her defense strategy was crumbling. Those messages are out of context. Which part is out of context? The part where you called our marriage a business partnership, or the part where you said you had options? I was venting to friends. You were planning an exit strategy. She started crying. Not the genuine tears of someone who has been caught and feels remorse. The calculated tears of someone who has realized their game is over. I never cheated on you. No, you just publicly humiliated me and emotionally cheated with multiple men. It was not like that. It was exactly like that. I stood up and walked to the kitchen where I left the divorce papers I had picked up from the lawyer's office. I filed for divorce this morning. The crying stopped immediately. You did what? I retained an attorney, started the paperwork, separated our bank accounts. She shot up from the chair like she had been electrocuted. You cannot be serious, dead serious. We can work this out. We can go to counseling. You should have thought about counseling before you started shopping for apartments. How did you know about the apartment searches? I know about the divorce lawyer research. I know you have been planning this for months. She sat back down, probably calculating how much trouble she was actually in. So, what happens now? You have 48 hours to pack your things and move out. This is my house too. Was your house. Check your bank account. She grabbed her phone and opened her banking app, watched her face change as she realized the joint accounts were empty. You stole my money, I moved my money, everything in those accounts came from my paychecks. That is not legal. It is completely legal. Ask your lawyer when you hire one. I cannot afford a lawyer without access to our accounts. Should have considered that before you started texting single men about having options. She was trapped and she knew it. The crying resumed, but this time it seemed more genuine. Where am I supposed to go? Tyler's apartment? Your work friends? Your parents? Plenty of options, right? The word options hit her exactly how I intended, throwing her own language back at her. Please do not do this. We can fix this. You are right. We can fix this by getting divorced. I headed toward the stairs to give her time to process what had just happened. "I will be in my office. You have until Wednesday to pack. And if I do not..." I turned back to look at her, still sitting in the chair, mascara running down her face, holding her phone like it might provide some magical solution. "Then I will pack for you." I went upstairs and closed the office door. Through the floor, I could hear her making phone calls, probably to Tyler, to her work friends, to anyone who might offer her a place to crash. Good luck with that, because in 48 hours, she was going to discover the difference between having options and having options that actually wanted her. Tuesday morning, I woke up to the sound of her slamming drawers and stuffing clothes into suitcases. She had been up half the night making calls, and based on the frustrated tone coming from the guest bedroom, those calls had not gone well. I made coffee and checked my email. My lawyer had already sent the formal divorce papers. Efficient guy. She came downstairs around 8 o'clock, looking like she had not slept, hair messy, eyes red, wearing yesterday's clothes. "Tyler will not return my calls." I looked up from my laptop. "That is unfortunate. His phone goes straight to voicemail. Maybe he is busy." I think his girlfriend found out. Girlfriend, interesting detail, she had left out of her romantic plans. The girls from work cannot help either. One is getting married next month. The other just had a baby. I nodded and went back to my email. Not my problem to solve. My parents want to know why I'm calling about staying there. What did you tell them? That we are having problems. That is one way to put it. She sat down across from me, probably hoping for some sign that I was bluffing. This is really happening. Yes, after 7 years. After 7 years of me being faithful while you planned your escape. She tried a different approach. The reasonable, mature approach. We are both adults. We can handle this civilly. I am handling it civilly. I could have confronted you at the party in front of everyone. So what do you want? Half of everything. I want you out of my house by tomorrow. What about money? I cannot just start over with nothing. I closed my laptop and gave her my full attention. You will get what the court decides you deserve based on the evidence. What evidence? The messages, the planning, the public humiliation. Her face fell as she remembered I had screenshots of everything. Those were private conversations about your married life with single men you were flirting with. She was quiet for a long moment, probably realizing how bad this looked from a legal standpoint. I will need time to find an apartment. You have been looking for 2 months. Pick one. I was just browsing. Browse faster. Around noon, she started loading boxes into her car. I helped carry the heavy stuff, partly out of habit and partly because I wanted her gone as quickly as possible. Where are you going? Extended stay hotel for now. That is expensive. I will figure it out. By 3 o'clock, she had loaded most of her immediate necessities. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, some books. The rest could wait for the legal proceedings. She stood in the driveway next to her packed car, looking at the house we had shared for 4 years. I did not mean for it to happen like this. How did you mean for it to happen? I do not know. Different. You meant for me to be the bad guy so you could leave guilt-free. She did not deny it. I will call you about picking up the rest of my stuff. Call my lawyer. We cannot even talk directly. We just did. This is how it ends. She got in her car and backed out of the driveway. I watched her drive away, probably heading to the extended stay America near the highway, probably calling Tyler again, hoping he had developed a conscience overnight. That evening, I had dinner with my college buddy and his wife. I told them the whole story over beer and pizza. She really said the ring was like a friendship bracelet in front of 30 people. What a piece of work. His wife shook her head. I felt so bad for you that night. We almost said something. I am glad you did not. Better that I handled it quietly. So what now? Now I wait for the divorce to finalize and move on with my life. Any regrets? I thought about it for a moment. 7 years of marriage, 4 years in the house together, all the plans we had made. Only that I did not see it sooner. That night, I slept in the middle of the bed for the first time in years, no one taking up 3/4 of the space, no snoring, no phone buzzing with late-night messages, just quiet. 7 months later, I was pushing a shopping cart through Target when I saw her. She was in the discount clothing section, holding up a clearance rack sweater and checking the price tag. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, no makeup, wearing jeans that had seen better days. I almost did not recognize her. Hey! She looked up, startled. It took her a second to process that her ex-husband was standing 3 feet away. Oh, hi, how are things? Fine, good, adjusting. She was not fine. The extended stay hotel had apparently stretched into 3 months before she had found a studio apartment across town. I knew this because my lawyer had kept me updated during the divorce proceedings. "You look different, thanks." Not a compliment. She had lost weight, but not the good kind, the stress kind, the eating ramen noodles for dinner kind. "How is Tyler?" Her face tightened. I would not know. Of course, Tyler had vanished the moment things got complicated. It turns out 25-year-old gym bros are not interested in dating recently divorced women with legal drama. The apartment working out? It is temporary. Everything was temporary now. Her job, her living situation, her financial stability. It turns out when you blow up your life for excitement, you do not get to keep the stability part. I noticed her cart. Generic brand everything, store brand cereal, discount pasta, markdown produce. Well, I should let you get back to shopping. Actually, wait. She looked around to make sure no one was listening. "How are you doing?" "Really, really good. Got promoted at work, bought a new truck. That is great." I could see her doing the math. While she had been struggling to afford studio apartment rent, I had been thriving. "Are you seeing anyone?" "Actually, yes, her name is Jessica. She is a teacher." "That is nice. She is very nice, respectful." The word respectful landed exactly how I intended it. "Listen, I know things ended badly between us. They ended exactly how they needed to end." She nodded, probably realizing this was not going to be the reconciliation conversation she had been hoping for. "I should go. Jessica is making dinner tonight." "Of course. Well, it was good seeing you. Take care of yourself." I pushed my cart toward the electronics section where I was picking up a new sound system for the house. Behind me, I heard her phone ring. "Mom, no, I cannot come for Sunday dinner again. I am working a double shift." I kept walking. 3 hours later, I texted Jessica that I would be home in 20 minutes. She texted back a photo of the salmon she was grilling with a message that said, "Cannot wait to see you." 6 months ago, I had met Jessica at a coffee shop downtown. She was reading a book, minding her own business, not performing for anyone's attention. We had started talking about the book, which led to dinner, which led to 6 months of dating someone who actually wanted to be with me. She did not play games, did not flirt with other men, did not call her engagement ring jewelry names to get laughs from strangers. When I got home, Jessica was setting the table for 2. She looked up when I walked in, smiled like she genuinely missed me during the 4 hours I had been gone. "How was Target?" "Interesting." I ran into my ex-wife. "Oh, wow, how was that?" "Educational. Good educational or bad educational?" "Reminder educational." She walked over and kissed me hello, not performative, not for anyone else's benefit, just because she wanted to. Reminder of what? That I made the right decision. During dinner, I told her about the encounter, how different my ex looked, how awkward the conversation had been, how clear it was that her life had not improved since the divorce. "Do you feel bad for her? Should I?" "I do not know. You were married for 7 years. I thought about it while we cleaned up dishes together. A routine we developed over 6 months. Easy, comfortable, respectful. She made her choices at the party with the messages, with the apartment searching. She wanted a different life. And now she has it. Now she has it. Later that night, lying in bed with Jessica reading beside me, I reflected on the whole situation. 7 months ago, I had been married to someone who called our wedding ring a friendship bracelet. Tonight, I was with someone who wore the necklace I had given her for our 3-month anniversary. The difference was respect. Jessica respected our relationship, respected me, respected herself enough not to play games. My ex-wife had taught me what I would not tolerate. Jessica was teaching me what I deserved. 7 months ago, I thought my marriage ending was the worst thing that could happen to me. It turns out it was the best. Our story has come to an end. If you have made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I have selected 2 other videos for you that I am sure you will enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I will be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.